This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. Hi guys, myself Ravinder. I'm working as a SQL DBA. My core technology is into SQL itself. So I'm working on SQL for more than 16 years now. I'm working on the Azure cloud for more than 8 years. I do work on MongoDB, Postgres, along with this, even AWS also. This is my technical background. I'm working as a tech lead. I handle all the technology people uh, from here in India. So this is about little introduction about myself. So today we're going to talk about what is the importance of cloud and why it is getting adopted in the market. What are the reasons? What are the benefits clients are getting by adopting the cloud? And we have AWS also along with Azure. So what is an no? What are the reasons why we need to learn Azure over AWS comparatively? How the market is growing for Azure and for SQL especially. There are reasons, certain reasons we're going to discuss. So, what kind of challenges people are facing to maintain their own data centers? So, why they have to adapt to the cloud? So, all those points. It's more of a technical, information where you understand the importance of cloud, why it is getting implemented. At least you get basic answers from this class. That is a takeaway from this class. So we will talk about on-prem data centers first. What are the challenges we do have? Then we'll go through point by point in the next slides. So basically, if someone maintain on-prem data centers, like there are many challenges to client need to face. In fact, many people are already maintaining, of course, but slowly people are moving to the cloud to offload their all the coordination. What we're going to discuss anyway. So to maintain and build in for anyone on-prem data center, first they do identify location, dedicated space for housing infrastructure. So basically, they identify a location where it is not prone to natural calamities like earthquake and like floods, and the area should be safe against the natural calamities. It's no place is safe, but anyway, they do the research and they identify, they deploy the data centers generally. And we cannot operate with one data center generally. We must have the standby data center also, so to protect our data. Without data, no business will run. So you need to have proper bandwidth between the data center to replicate data also between the data centers. So to do that, you have to have alternate links also connected between the data centers. If one link is broken, there should be other link to transfer the data. You cannot because of link is broken, you cannot transfer the data, then your DR will go out of sync completely. So either you go through the ISP or you lay out your cables or whatsoever. The data has to be transferred between the regions, so that even in the case of disaster on the primary, there will be recovery on the with the disaster side. So you will protect your data. That has to be done, and your data will be hosted somewhere. You work from somewhere. That's how the business is run. Nobody go to the just to data center and start working and supporting there. In fact, we all do as a DPA, all infrastructure people do the remote job, right? You don't go to the data center and do the job. So you must have sufficient bandwidth to talk to your servers and to fetch the data to the servers, for application purpose. You must have the efficient bandwidth capabilities, and you should have third party network connection also. If your connection is broken, there should be alternate link to give a route to the applications to get the data out of the data centers. So you have to design all that. In fact, it is a definite need for anyone thinking of disaster and having an alternate solution immediately to bring up the business. And software licensing. Sorry. Software licensing is basically in any business. If you talk about, some are open source, some are like semi licensed, some are fully licensed. So we have to track what are the licensed product, and you have to renew it yearly or quarterly, or depends how the contract is signed with the vendor. So softwares must be tracked properly and paid time to time the billing, so that you will not go out of compliance on the software, and you have to upgrade time to time so that you get the good performance and features of the products, the software products. So this has to be done time to time. If not, you will go outdated, and your product won't support the features. You have to time upgrade with the OS product updates also. Extremely redundant power resource, we should have it, like you see that power outage because of maybe any natural calamities surrounding, maybe floods or any earthquake, maybe any strikes in that area. Reason can be anything. There is a power outage and there is no supply from the government for any reason. It can happen, right? So we cannot expect, like maybe snowfall, uh, something broken in between the poles but transferring the power. So you should have a immediate UPS system to continue with your uptime of your server. If that is also draining out, you need to have a diesel generators to supply the power. Somehow you have to keep your data center up and running. That plans must be designed. Okay, these all have to be done to maintain anyone's data center. Okay, free dust free control environment within the data center. Basically servers run 365 days and 24 by 7. If you don't maintain dust free controlled environment, what happens? The CPU, the server CPU fan runs 24 by 7, right? It accumulates the dust from the atmosphere. When you restart, it won't start. You have to you have to pull out the RAM and then clean the entire dust and all that, then it will start. So that should not happen in the data center. It has to be absolutely dust free environment. Efficient cooling and ventilation. Cooling is very important because if you anybody entered into data centers, basically they do maintain real good temperature there, roughly 16 degrees temperature, 16 to 20 in between. So servers generate a lot of heat because they do run 65 days. Okay, and you have to time, the cooling of the environment where you host the server should be certain temperature. If not, the circuits will break if it goes a certain beyond temperature level. So that should not happen. You have to maintain sufficient cooling mechanism inside the data center to sustain that heat. High physical security. So in here, without identity, no one should enter into data center, because data center is your anybody's business. Without data, the operation, the business never runs. Right? Data is money for anyone. So you should only allow the people who are authorized to enter into the data center. That has to be approved by someone who is a higher authority to get it repaired also. Like they have to show their identity, because you cannot trust anyone, to let them enter into data center anyone, right? DR site. Just now we talked about we cannot rely on a one data center. We just have to have another data center to sync the data and protect the data all the time. That has to be there. All together, these all points together makes expensive solution for anyone. If it is a startup company, they cannot invest a lot of money in the data center itself for maintaining it. They are very small startup companies, they cannot afford to do all this. So cloud is a ready-made solution for anyone. Like they can create the servers, and they can go with the prepaid, reserving the resources. They can go with the postpaid. All the options are given in the cloud. In fact, use it and pay. Okay, or else you see the e-commerce businesses, like how do they operate? They do release the big billion days, and how do they sustain with the workload that they don't imagine how many people are going to hit the system. They have the clouds. All e-commerce businesses running in the cloud only nowadays. Maximum, you check out all e-commerce. So they scale with the load, because there will be auto scaling of the VMs will take place in the background. Okay, for the app servers, not for the database. Database server, you have to have that configuration to accept that load. For the application side, there is something called auto scale VMs. If the load goes beyond certain level on the CPU side, it will create automatically one more machine on the fly and distribute the load. So the e-commerces can scale in the cloud, because the cloud platform will take care of that scaling of the new VMs automatically when the load goes beyond the control of the machines. So cloud is necessary for a lot of businesses, in fact, global businesses and all that. So basically, let me explain this point. So if you are started your business in US, just for the use case, and you're getting the good business in US, now you want to grow to different countries and continents so that you can do better business, right? Example, you're in USA and you started a company and it is doing well and you are generating good revenues and all that. You wanted to expand your business to different countries and continents. Like you that's how the global businesses run, right? You cannot do the business in one country and then, when you're getting the good profits, you expand your business to different countries. That's how you grow, right? So when you have your own data center here in the USA, you are expand your business to different countries. You cannot, go and build your data center in every country, right? Generally you can, if you can afford. There will be such people, they do. But most of the companies, like, when they have a ready-made solution as a cloud, it exists as a ready infrastructure. They have their local business in their data center, but in the remote regions where they are growing their business, they can directly subscribe to cloud and then operate from the cloud, so that they don't have to maintain the physical infrastructure there. It is a fully cloud, virtual, someone else's platform. They're using it and then providing the data to the local region from those systems, in fact. So the need coming in many dimensions for the cloud, in fact, not one. I'm going to explain a lot of points why the cloud is growing. Okay, first let's understand the basics. Then I'll start about the actual benefits of the cloud. So what was there before cloud? Now the cloud is there, but what the kind of service was there with the same kind of services with before the cloud? If you talk about AWS, it started in 2006, but officially it is launched in 2008. And if you talk about Azure and AWS, AWS is real mature and old cloud technology compared to Azure. In fact, Azure started getting the good market from 2014. It started in 2010 itself, but lately, 2014, in fact. So if you talk about why the AWS is falling down for the Windows or Microsoft products, because Microsoft giving huge discounts to the existing customers. I'll show that on the website, official website, how they are giving what deep level of discounts they are giving to the customers to enroll their own, the Microsoft products people into the Azure itself, than not to the AWS. I'll show that, on the official website, what they are doing and all that. But anyway, before cloud, there used to be services called managed services, in fact. Okay, control as cloud 4C, that is example. So what these people do, basically, these are all equivalent to cloud, in fact. So everything is a cloud. Even you have your own data center, that is also a private cloud. We call it as a private cloud because you maintain it and you are connecting over the internet and doing the, like remote administration. Anything you work on remote is a cloud, in fact. Okay, so everything is a cloud, whatever you talk about. But public cloud, private cloud, there are 2 points we have. Private clouds are owned by single organization, the data centers owned by them. They only do everything end-to-end management, and they won't share that infrastructure with anyone. Public cloud, it is open for anyone who can, have a credit card. They can subscribe to the subscription and then start building the resources. No restriction. You have internet, you are eligible to create the resources. You just subscribe your subscription and build whatever you wanted. So that's open, right? So the similar kind of cloud services used to be provided by the managed services. These people are not like cloud, in fact. They are even advanced, like you can say that. So they build a server for you, they manage the server for you, they will maintain the uptime, they do everything end-to-end administration. They protect your data, they protect your, like firewalls, your network, everything. They give end-to-end solution for any customer whoever wanted the IT services. In fact, they build the servers, they maintain the servers, they maintain end-to-end in the back end. You don't need to hire infrastructure maintenance people. In fact, they do maintain everything for you. And these kind of vendors still there in the market, in fact. Okay, so these people will give end-to-end solution to the customer. They don't have to worry about the servers availability, upgrades, networks, protection, everything. They'll take care. You need 10 servers for your business, go to them and order them. They build the servers, they keep your network isolation, they build your domain, everything they do it for you. Okay. These people are even advanced, but their existence is very limited to the geographic region. That's why they are not globalized. They are not globalized people. They're only specific to region services. They do have it. So globalized only the right now in the market, Azure and AWS. These are the top leaders. Google is actually coming into the race, but not yet. It is not in the race yet compared to Azure and AWS at the moment. So virtualization. So basically, why did I, kept this point in the cloud discussion? Market is absolutely the clients, the people who are using the technology, in the market, very smart. So they wanted to save the money. Wherever they could save the money, they are adapting quickly there. Okay. If business people are why they are doing the business, they want to get the money. If they don't want to unnecessarily waste the money. So anything that is saving the cost of the company, they are quickly adapting in the market, anywhere in the world. So virtualization is one thing where before virtualization introduced or deployed, what used to happen, every application will have its own dedicated server, and that dedicated server will have enough of resources to sustain with the maximum peak load when the big billion days I just said. Like any business you take it in the year, they will have the seasonal sales, and that sales you know will impose a maximum load on the server. The server built in such a way that seasonal business sales should be sustained on the server. But what about the rest of the days of the year? You have the business sales in a year, hardly a month. What about the 11 months? Like you are not going to utilize those resources, dedicated physical machines. If it is you have a sales, you are using up to the maximum for a month in a year, but rest of the 11 months you are not utilizing it. You invested, you paid everything, and you are not utilizing your resources what you invested. In fact, that is on the physical side. Virtualization, when it come into picture, on a big physical machine you can create tiny VMs, and you deploy your applications here, your products here, and underlying hardware is used on a shared basis. If one machine is not using, other machine will use it. So what we are achieving out of this, we are trying to utilize our hardware to utilize up to the maximum all the time. Okay, if one machine is using business maximum, one machine using the maintenance maximum. So you are trying to balance the resource utilization by using the VMware. So you are going to save the data center space also, occupancy also, by doing this concepts. If you are needing one server for every application, you have a lot of applications, you cannot keep that many physical servers, which needs more bigger data center space to maintain it, and it is painful to maintain. In fact, it's not easy to maintain the data center with too many boxes in it, right? So this concept save a lot of money. 99% right now in the market, 98% of the infrastructure is a virtual machine only in the world. Only 2%, maybe 5% hardly. You see that physical servers still in use in the market. 95% of the infrastructure in the market are absolutely are adapted to the virtualization, because it's saving the lot of hardware cost and the maintenance of the data centers also. So there is a huge benefit by adopting this. So people adopted. It started in 2000 itself. Now everything, 95% of the market is adopted it. Why? Because it has a good benefit by implementing it. So that's what cloud is also giving a benefit. That's why people are inclined to slowly adopt the technologies. So this I kept this point just to make you that people mindset in the market, what how they are moving ahead when there is a benefit. So what is cloud computing? Cloud computing has many, many definitions if you go and check in the internet, but what exactly it means, the layman terms. So you are not keeping the data on your equipment, you are keeping your data on someone else's equipment, and you are paying for that period of time, how long you're using your data on that equipment. Basically, you are hiring the third party systems and putting your data there, and you're paying for the period, whatever the period you're using the systems there. So that is an indirect meaning of cloud. In fact, it's third party data centers. They are also physical somewhere. They are not virtual. They are also physical data center. They maintain it everything for you. You only work on the VM layer. hardware infrastructure level, storage layer, physical VM level, Hyper-V products, and the server power, network cabling, and protection of the cloud. You don't care about that. Only you care about your VM, your PaaS services, your SaaS services. What are those IA services, PaaS services, and IA services? I'm going to talk about in the next slide. We have that discussion. But if you talk about cloud, it's not your system, it is someone else's system. You're putting your data there and running and pay for whatever the period you're using that system. In fact, that is what is a cloud, in fact. So it is a use of remote servers on the internet to store, manage, and process the data rather than local or your physical machines, your computer. You are not using your systems, you are using someone else's systems on a rental basis. So cloud computing is a delivery of on-demand computing resources over the internet on a pay-per-use basis. So it is absolutely how long you are using that matters. If I'm building a machine, I'm using for a month or for an hour for the practice, and right after the practice I destroy it, so I'll pay for exactly the period what I use it. So maybe I need a 1 hour, I can use it 1 hour and destroy it. So if it is cloud is not there, example, it will be tough for the client. See, some you have to run your data center at least 20% buffer infrastructure all the time. You cannot go and buy the resource on the fly when the demand comes. You have to always have 20% of buffer infrastructure in your data center to sustain the growth of the business, right? If a storage needed 1 TB, you cannot go to the vendor and purchase and hook up and then place into the server. It should be there beforehand to sustain that business growth. So basically, that is not needed in the cloud. It is on the fly. You want storage to be expanded, want to be to 2 TB. Just give the number and save it. It will happen on the fly in a seconds. You don't have to do any capacity planning. You don't have to maintain any buffer resources beforehand. If it is a cloud, it's absolutely on demand. Whatever the resource you wanted, you can scale up to and then use it that period and scale down if you don't want that resource. So a lot of flexibility in the cloud. Okay. That point anyway I'll explain. So cloud types. What kind of types we do have? Public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. So what are these in fact? So basically public cloud is open to anyone. It is not restricted to any individual. In the public cloud also, you can absolutely order some equipment. I need this equipment dedicated to me. That is called dedicated hosting model that I'll talk about today itself, and what kind of sizes we do have, how do you purchase everything. I'll talk about tomorrow. We have the discussion. So in the public cloud also, you can purchase the equipment for your operations dedicatively. That is there. We'll talk about that. But public cloud is not restricted to anyone. It is for everyone in the world. Whoever have internet, they can use, available for everyone. Anyone can go and sign up and use the services. It is open for anyone. Private clouds are not like that. It is owned by single organizations. It's a proprietary resources. It is not shared with anyone except that company. Okay, that is called private. All our client data centers comes under private cloud. That is called, we'll call it on-prem systems also. Okay, on-prem means our client managed data centers. We call it as on-prem. Cloud means the public clouds generally. That is a term people use it in the market. Okay, on-prem means cloud managed, the client managed data centers. On-prem data centers are private clouds. Public cloud means Azure, AWS, Google. This is called public clouds. In fact, if you understand the term. Hybrid. See, mostly people are hybrid. So if you talk about myself, my company, 70% of the business we are running, I mean our infrastructure running in the cloud, 30% still in on-prem, because their data volume is very high and the 30% of the resources, certain levels in the cloud, you don't get the performance because it's not your equipment, it's not your near to you for your business operations. So you know where you want to run the data center really close to your operations where the business runs. Maybe like you are not secure, you don't feel like secure. Financial systems especially not completely migrated to cloud, especially financial sector in right now in the market. E-commerce is completely on the cloud if you talk about sector wise, except financial sector still they're holding their resources in the on-prem itself, but they subscribed a part of it where things are not so critical, they're running from the cloud. But critical applications like they have the complete proprietary client information, and their systems are huge and volume is huge. They wanted to scale up, they wanted to monitor themselves, they want to control that. So that kind of things are still there in the on-prem. So what is exactly the hybrid model? Combination of public and private clouds together to run your business. That combination is called hybrid cloud. So what we are doing, 30% is on-prem, 70% is cloud. So ours is actually hybrid. We are using both the clouds to run our business. That is called hybrid cloud. We are using the combination of them to run our business, called hybrid cloud. So you best use of both public and private cloud combination called as hybrid clouds. Okay. So any questions, guys? If at all you have it, please open up, and I'm okay to talk any question that can be basic, or whatever it is you feel like you want to ask. You can ask. Not an issue. Right. Uh, s- let's talk about categories of services. This is very important to understand. So I'll anyway stress out every service what we discuss when we start the discussion. I'll tell you that this service comes under IA service or PaaS service or SaaS service, basically. To have understanding first, software as a service. Software as a service is fully automated and self-deployed services comes under SaaS. You don't have to do anything. Our admin also don't have to do anything. It is a fully automated functionality, and you don't have to do anything. Example, email creation. If you are creating Gmail, you don't have to go to the like Google company to create your Gmail account. They created everything in the background for you. There is a creative web UI. You have to go to the sign up and give your basic details and sign up, and the next moment once it is created, you can start sending the mail, receiving the email. All are eligible. So your enrollment is not supported by someone. It is already there in the background. It is taken care of by the system, not by humans. In fact, it is already designed. So all your Play Store apps, whatever you download from the Play Store in your phone, comes under SaaS services only. Every Play Store app need a basic authenticity like username, your phone number, your OTP, all that given. You can start using that apps. In fact, no one is authorizing you to do it. The app itself is authorizing you because it is requiring some basic details, and then you're using right after it. So every mechanism is in place. You don't have any administration scope or development scope directly. Okay, as a end user, you can self service kind of thing. You go there and subscribe and use it. The service what is there, what is given by the vendor. So all such kind of services comes under as ready to use softwares, and you don't have a scope to do any customizations there. Customizations already running with a vendor specific parameters. You don't define anything. You cannot control that environment. It is ready to use. It has to be used how it is defined, how it is designed. You cannot change it. So that comes under SaaS services, just generic thing. So anyway, I'm going to cover under some services under SaaS in our course. I'll discuss whatever the service we discuss. It comes under SaaS service, PaaS service, IaaS service. I'll discuss why it is so PaaS, why it is so SaaS, why it is so IaaS. Also, I'll justify it. What is PaaS? PaaS is a service runs on top of the cloud platform without a VM, but you have a scope to do your customizations. If it is a PaaS SQL Server, we call it a SQL Server. SQL Server, you can control the the number of CPUs and memory disk, and you can do your security compliances. You can control the environment, scaling up your database power, scaling down the database, and creating the users, giving permissions, and your data growth and how it has to be managed in terms of indexing. You can create your own indexes, and you monitor your performance, you monitor your workload, understand the pattern. There are many things you can do in the PaaS model, though you don't have to upgrade the server, patch the server, you don't have to take the backups, right? It is all automated. You don't have to do anything in the PaaS model. The technologies are automated, no clustering, everything is few clicks, will get everything clustered, mirroring, lock shipping, equivalent technologies. Everything is just few clicks, it does the job. but the customizations are possible. What kind of compute model you wanted, what kind of security compliances you wanted, the user permissions, administration, all that. What kind of data management you wanted. You wanted to have your indexes and you have to monitor your workload. You have to introduce your proper indexing to improve the performance. So here, the PaaS gives you scope to do the administration, but it doesn't have the physical VM for you. It runs on top of the cloud as a logical server. You just see the service name, that's it. It consumes the compute power from the backend, but that you don't have an access where it is running. You only see that service, you connect to that service, do the administration, and how good it will scale with how much resources you are giving logically to that service. It is always shared, nothing fixed here. Sometimes PaaS does not give a good performance. I'm going to explain why it cannot give a good performance. Certain cases, in fact, we're going to discuss it. In fact, so anything you deploy, where you should go basically, either PaaS model, SaaS model. See, database side, we don't use any service as a SaaS service for database. Okay, story account comes under SaaS service, but it is not a database. Anything database comes under PaaS or IaaS model, not SaaS model. These two environments, our services will run as a database. I'm talking about. Okay. App services, storages, network side, there are many services under SaaS anyway. For database side, you have only PaaS and IaaS model only generally. Okay. SaaS, just like a cloud platform, you run the service, you take the automated features and you do your own customizations and operate on it. So it is a combination of it. You have your own customizations. Cloud also has done its own customizations together. IaaS is something you create a VM. Do anything inside the VM comes under IaaS model, infrastructure as a service. If you are doing anything with the help of the VM, you created a VM and you're running something inside the VM, that comes under IaaS model. Simple, straightforward, blind understanding is that infrastructure as a service involves VM, creating the VM. You're doing something inside the VM. What that something is, the front end, back end, middleware, whatsoever, doesn't matter to the Microsoft. They have projected you created a VM with certain resources. They're giving that dedicated resource to your VM, and the object is comes with the OS loaded, and you do whatever you wanted inside it. So that kind of things comes under IaaS model. So now you should have got some idea what exactly the SaaS services, what exactly the PaaS services, what exactly the IaaS services. SaaS, PaaS, IaaS. You got an idea. Any questions? Let me know. This is where a lot of people, uh, like will have a basic doubt who don't know the cloud. So if you have still question, let me know after this discussion. So if you look at this, anyone have a question before I go ahead?
Hey, Ravindra.
Yeah, good.
So when to use PaaS, when to use infrastructure as a service? So you said there
See,
is a little bit.
right. So too early to answer entirely, but I'll give a rough idea. But this I'll conclude at the end. But here, PaaS is something you cannot choose your database version, edition, anything. Directly latest version to the 19 itself. Okay. You don't have to patch server. You don't have to see the uptime 24/7. It will be always on. You cannot shut down the server if it is a PaaS SQL. So managed instance, it is a come the hybrid service that I'll cover separately. But if it is a PaaS SQL server, you cannot stop. There is no stop button. How you do the maintenance, I'll cover it. But PaaS is something is ready to use. If you are not affordable to do the basic administration and you directly okay with the latest version available, auto patching will be taken place, everything seamless automatically. You don't have to do any kind of much of administration in the PaaS model. And if your application dependent on the lower version, it is compatible on the lower only because there is a lot of code need to be redeveloped and all that. You cannot go to the PaaS model. You have to go to the VM model only. Certain complex applications, they need a cross database communication, doing lot of references of the objects. You cannot go to the PaaS model. It won't directly support the cross objects communication between the databases. It is only within the database. If you have to make communication to other database, you have to create explicitly that external table, make the communication. One database will not talk to other database by design. So there are restrictions. When to go to PaaS model depends on the business model, depends on the requirement model, it is compatible, not compatible. It will be designed in the during the discussion phase itself with the client. Okay. So VM anything that you it is 99% is on-prem. I mean, if you talk about the compatibility side, the operations wise, only networking side, the migration integration side, things are different, but 98% the same kind of administration what you do in the on-prem, you do in the cloud also. On the IaaS model. PaaS model, your 60% of the work is cut down. I mean, only 40% of the administration only you do it in the PaaS model. PaaS model things are quite different, not like exactly what we do in the on-prem. This is where we're going to spend real good time because this is what is different to understand. Anyway, I'll discuss what are the different things we do have on the IaaS model. How do you configure always on in the cloud VM? How do you configure in the on-prem is different. How you do in the cloud is different. How it is different. What are the things are different? We're going to talk about in detail anyway. Okay. But to answer your question,
Mm,
PaaS is a latest version,
mm.
and you're getting it right.
Yeah, I think the only one question. So you said the database wise, if we have two database, we cannot talk to each other, right? So
Mhm.
is it in the same server or if it is in the different server?
Same server itself. Within the
Oh,
same server, one database won't talk to other unless you
oh,
explicitly create that communication. So
okay,
there are
okay, got it.
restrictions. So if you talk about on-prem code, they call multiple databases to run the business, right? The
Mm,
cross database communications should be there, and they have a computed columns are not supported. File stream is not supported here. There are many features are not supported. So there you cannot go to the PaaS model. You have to go to the AS
okay,
model only.
okay, good.
So
Thank you.
if you want to go to the PaaS model only, there is a managed instance, which is a hybrid. It's a bridge between the cloud PaaS model and VM model. So that I'll talk it as a separate in the course itself. We're going to build a management instance and how do we migrate to offline, online, and everything we're going to talk about. That anyway, I'm just giving high level discussion today. In the course, we're going to
Okay,
discuss everything related to the SQL anyway.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So here, guys, if you look at on-prem means everything you are responsible, everything, every layer is managed by you. If it is a cloud infrastructure as a service, networking, storage, server, virtualization technology, everything is managed by the cloud. You only manage the OS what you have on the VM. You want to patch it, you want to upgrade it. That VM OS, it's your responsibility. Our cloud also can do it. I'll talk about that. There are two things, either you ask the cloud to patch your Windows machine or yourself can patch it. But what you run on that and the OS, you are responsible. If this VM is crashed for any reason, see, Microsoft also having a physical hardware. A VM is corrupted, data is lost, you are responsible, not cloud, because they are, you created a one standalone. You did not build a proper backup design, or you don't have the high availability technology. You have only one standalone, you lost the data. You lost the data because you did not protect it. It is your responsibility. My responsibility, I'm giving you a VM, and we will protect it as long as the hardware is not corrupted. If hardware is corrupted where the VM is hosted, you're gone. You have to protect your data with your own means. So that what is comes under IaaS service. You are fully entitled to protect what you are hosting within the VM. There is no guarantee that it can be protected. You have the availability is given, you have VM replications given, you have the backup strategies inbuilt tools for the backups given for the SQL. Everything is given. You have to protect yourself. If VM is crashed in the backend also, they cannot do anything. It's any even in the on-prem also, if the physical hardware is corrupted or went into bad shape, nothing can be done. You have to protect. Pass here, you don't have to worry about your data. No corruptions, your data is safe all the time. So how it happens in the PaaS model, just design kind of. I'll anyway explain in the course. Let's give a brief idea for you. In the PaaS model, you create one database in the cloud. Okay, it creates two more copies automatically. You don't have to ask this one. It is by design. You interact with this copy only in certain purchasing models. If you are going to the higher purchasing models, you can access, if you hit the read operation, it will redirect to this copy automatically. Okay, read scales will happen automatically. Okay, or writes will happen here, reads will happen. So it is not open for all the purchasing models. Some purchasing models can only use this copy for read write operations, but with every purchasing model you have the two more copies in the background. Why they are maintaining without asking? They are giving you 7 nines of data guarantee that no corruption. Okay, 7 nines. So probability or data loss here is 0.00016, 6 zeros after that one. So maximum, I mean,
For
you can say
which,
that. Go ahead.
hi, this is for which model? Which model?
PAS model.
Okay,
It is
okay.
for the PAS database. It is a PAS database. Whatever the data you're hosting on one database, it is getting hosted in a two more copies in the cloud automatically in the PAS model we am talking about. If it is a IAS model, no protection. You have to protect yourself with your own technology, what is given. If it is a PAS model, you don't have to worry about your data, what is hosted. They always protect whatever data is there in the database. How they are protecting it? That's what I'm explaining. They maintain two more copies for every database by design. If any data is corrupted, corruption is natural, right? It is hardware. The healthy copy will come and repair automatically. As a user, there is a corruption happened, it got repaired, you never know. It happens, it recovers automatically by the systems in the background, and then as a user, you see the data all the time. It repairs automatically. These copies will do the checksum acknowledgement. Anything anywhere corrupted, here it is corrupted, this healthy copy will repair it automatically. So that way you don't see the data corruptions. Your data is absolutely safe in the PAS model. You don't have to worry about. So everything has advantages and disadvantages. That is a different story. But understand the architecture. In the PAS model, your database is fully protected. No corruption is possible because of the architecture they designed. So the pass is only you how you operate the data, how you fetch the data, and how much computing power you're allocating to that service. You have to allocate based on the load that you receive on that service, in fact, and what kind of indexing models you want to keep, what kind of users, what permissions you want to keep it, and what kind of complete the auditing you're placing for that service. You have all the things, but data management wise, the protection wise, you don't have to do anything. It is all already protected. With software as a service, you don't have to do anything. Absolutely every layer is ready-made and ready to use. Nothing you or anybody have to do. It is a fully self-service. That kind of services comes under. You will be given some features, radio buttons. You want this, select this. If you don't want, don't select it. So if you want some service, you select it and apply. That service will apply automatically. That feature will apply to that service automatically. So here all are ready-made buttons, ready-made services, ready-made features. You don't have to do anything. No customizations, nothing. You have given some services, some choices, you choose it and use it. Nothing else you can do here. Then let's come back to cloud implementation. What makes cloud to adopt in the market? This is where the majority of the agenda will be delivered. Okay, these are all informational what we discussed, but the actual agenda of today's class, why we need to adapt to the cloud. That's the points we're going to cover up now. Cost is a see first thing anybody talks about anything you want to do. What is a cost benefit I'm getting out of? That's the first question anything anybody asks. Okay, it is giving all the features, everything is given. Overall, on the whole, what is the cost I'm actually saving out of this implementation? That's the first question anybody will ask anyway. Though you are telling that it is giving all these kind of benefits, all protections are there, everything is there, that's okay. But how much already I have in my data center? So if I switch it to yours, what is the saving I'm going to get? Cloud is not cheap unless you know the services how to use it. So I'm going to talk about cost optimizations. I am part of that cost optimization team, in my company. I'm working as a tech lead there. I control a lot of workload that comes. They build new databases, but we try to accommodate in the existing cost model only. We don't increase the cost. First, we look at the choices. How you grow the infrastructure, but you don't have to pay more. How it is possible. So that's something I'm going to cover. Cost optimizations, utilize the existing resources for new databases. You're creating new database but you don't have to pay. So how it is possible, we'll see that in the real world. So that's basically cloud. Cost is actually example, I'm buying I'm deploying one on-prem data center myself for my company, your hardware always will be outdated after 5 to 7 years, maybe 10 years maximum, right? Maximum you can see that server equipment will be outdated. 10 years is too big period, I'm saying it. Okay. After every 10 years, you have to replace entire equipment because it goes outdated. Your data is growing. Your hardware need to be, cope up with the data retrieval. So old hardware, the specs of the old hardware is not sufficient to scale with that big data. You have to replace with the new hardware with the better specs. So every 10 years, you have to reinvest completely to replace your infrastructure to match with your data demand, right? If it is a cloud, I don't have to. I'll create a machine today and I'll use it for years, for how many years I wanted. If it is outdating the software, hardware, whatsoever, I'll create a latest class server with the latest hardware class and migrate the data there, destroy the old one, use the new one. I don't care about the old. If it is on-prem case, your hardware, outdated hardware, you cannot sell it. You have to give it to scrap vendor only. Scrap vendor will charge you to scrap that equipment securely, and definitely they do it. They are the authorized licensed people. See, companies, you see that laptops, they don't give it to you as an employee after the 3 years warranty whatsoever. They give it to the scrap vendors. They'll pay to that scrap vendor, scrap this laptop without giving anyone. So they are paying for the equipment to scrap also. So when you are building your data center, you may not see the immediate benefit, you see the benefit down the line. That's the point here. So cloud computing is eliminated the capital expense of the companies of buying hardware, software, setting up and running on-site data centers. So if anybody want to start a new company, investing on the data center itself, they will go out of funds because they are the small people, because they are startup people. So when there is some ready-made services, which is actually no need to invest anything, they can focus only on the business side. Why not? Anybody can take that advantage. People would definitely take the advantage of that. So that is one thing. People are using the on-prem. They have to always do the capacity planning beforehand. They always hire different people to manage it. The people cost, the management is equipment is different, and managing that entire technology stack like backend, like you have the Hyper-V profile, backup profile, and Windows profile, networking profile, storage profile. These are all infrastructure profiles, right? There should be many people to be there to manage that infrastructure. So employment cost, equipment cost, everything together, it goes high only. When it is a cloud side, especially these profiles, Windows, hypervisor, storage, networking, and these profiles, especially they got a huge hit when it goes to the cloud side. They don't need that many people who they wanted in the on-prem if it is a cloud. Database side, much of impact. We still need the DBS, but most of the effect is happening to the infrastructure people if it is cloud, because no much of administration you have to do. Administration done by the Microsoft itself. So the cost is a one primary benefit by going to the cloud, and also you should aware of what is a costing model for every service. If you blindly build a service, it will be costlier than in the than on-prem data centers. That also will be there. I'll talk about that. Cost is one thing. You can save a lot of money if you implement the cloud properly. Next, global scale. So no business want to run in a region specific. When they are doing when they are doing good business, they want to expand, right? They're getting the good revenue. They want to expand it to different regions. Then they want to even get the better benefits, better profits from businesses. When they want to globalized, then the ready-made solution. What I was saying this in the beginning. When someone want to grow, they have their own data center, they are running fine, they want to expand into different countries. When they do it, they cannot do the same kind of scratch work from in a different countries. They want to immediately deploy that service and start doing the services. So nobody, right? They have to hire entire infrastructure people there also in every region and do the administration. At least some people. Maybe you can do the remote administration, keeping your data center there, but you have to protect it there, right? Someone has to be there. Someone people locally should be hired for all profiles. They also should be available at that moment in the time zone. So there are challenges. If it is a cloud, you don't have to worry. I'm going to build the resource in our class anyway. One is in India, one is in US, and you integrate seamless protection, in seamless communication between the data centers, and you operate like as if like one data center, though they are different countries altogether. We're going to see that in our class. I have two classes to make you understand how the entire corporate works in the real world. Okay, how the networks will work, how the rule set works, how the communication works. We're going to see two classes to simulate the entire real world corporate deployment model in the cloud. We're going to spend on that anyway. But the global scalability become easy for people who are growing newly if they are already have their own data center well enough. But new people are existing people also, they are subscribing to clouds because their services, cloud is made easy in fact. Then obviously something easy and saving the money, people are adopting. So that's how cloud is slowly growing in the market. So the ability to scale elastically, delivering the right amount of IT resources when it is needed from the right geographic location. So here you wanted to grow. Example, okay, in terms of resources. If you need anything you want to purchase, you have to hook up in the data center, then use it. It is a long process, right? It is a cloud means just spin off any VM, any big size, any small size, in 2 to 3 minutes is a maximum time where you can build a VM and start using it. 2 to 3 minutes. If it is a on-prem, anyway, I'll talk about this capacity planning here, speed of delivery. Global scale become easy with a cloud implementation. That's a one big sell point again. Performance. If your example, the case is you are having only one data center, you are giving the data services to all the countries from one data center, it is possible. You can do that. But the distance, what the data is traveling matters. You are pushing the data here and getting the data what update is doing. This possible performance is a big culprit. You cannot get the same performance because your connection is traveling through the long distance. See, longer the distance, the data to travel definitely will take time, right? The delayed performance that you cannot guarantee. That's why you are making the data available for that local business, and you operate from this and you sync the data to here if you want. You can do that. How you sync the data to cloud, cloud to cloud, cloud to on-prem, in all directions. I'm going to show that. We have the concepts. How do we sync the data to anywhere to anywhere? Object level, we're going to discuss anyway. So the global scale become easy with the help of this, and performance is another big thing we need to understand, guys. See, time to time we have to upgrade the hardware softwares to match the customer requirements. Customer need every time new features whatever the product is releasing it, right? Old version does not give that feature, new version is giving it, and you have to upgrade it for feature side. Other thing is, products when they upgrade they become lightweight with the more advanced security functionalities. They give a lot of new enhancements and the new version, that's how the new version will be released, right? So you have to catch up with that so that you can give the best services to the clients, right? So for doing that, if it is on-prem, if you wanted to upgrade some softwares, you don't have downgrade when you upgrade. Some even talk about SQL Server itself. You upgrade, there is no downgrade. If you are doing the in-place upgrade, there is no downgrade. Then your applications are broken on the higher version. You cannot do anything. You have to rebuild that system, restore all the backups again. You have to do entire thing. That is a big disaster, right? Entire day business will be lost. So you have to do the side by side migration. To do the side by side migration, I need to buy the equivalent hardware and then migrate there side by side as a safe migration. So it is definitely costing you a lot. If it is a cloud, you build a parallel machine and give all the data on the target machine, let them application test. Once everything is done, you can switch over and you can destroy the old one. So upgrading the hardware, software is a easy choice in the cloud. You don't have to pay two parallel for all the time. Only the migration time you have to pay for the two different servers, of course. But once the migration is cut over is done, the old one can be destroyed. You will pay for the same server what you used to pay. So you are saving a lot of money there, and you're getting a good performance. Time to time you can upgrade software, hardware, and then this is where again See, before cloud evolved, if you are a good in one technology, you are SME, subject matter expert. You used to get a good package, you have a good secure job. Now you have only one profile, you are a real good in that technology. Still, you don't have a great opportunity in the market. Though, I'm talking about two experienced people, like 10, 15 years people, experienced people. If they are expert in one technology, market is not giving good opportunities because it is expecting more technical knowledge from the person who is really holding that level of experience. Because cloud is there, it has many things ready made. You don't need that experienced person to do it, right? So you have to versatile yourself into different technology also, so that they can leverage you across all the technologies and utilize you as a, they're paying more, they can utilize you more. That's what is happening with the cloud implementation. Before cloud, there was no such need in the market. One technology, one, you are SME, that's good enough to survive. Now it is not. So cloud only made the trend, I would say, because of, you don't have to do the end-to-end administration, right? There things are automated. So why you need all your efforts when you don't need it? You put that effort somewhere. That's what is expectation. Speed is another part. If client is asking something, you have to fulfill that requirement as quickly as possible to retain those clients, right? If you are delaying it, they'll see that no commitment. So delivery is also very, very important factor which your business will be influenced. And here there are two things we will talk about. Delivering the service quickly, by quickly creating the service and doing what client want immediately and delivering it is very important thing. Also, capacity planning. If you wanted a new server, if it is on-prem, what is the case? The product team will raise, this is what the infrastructure we wanted. Then it will go to the procurement team. There will be procurement team in the company who will go to the finance team, get the budget approved. The procurement team will take the specifications, go to the vendor and give that customized hardware requirement to the vendor, and they will customize your hardware, give it to you, and the infrastructure will place the hardware and they install the OS and connect to the networking, and then they'll give it that new hardware. There is a huge process involved to get a new machine in the on-prem. Anyway, it will be there as a buffer resources, but to get that there is a huge process involved. If it is cloud, you don't have to do anything. You need it, you build it, you just give it to the business. You don't have to go through all the phases. You don't need procurement team. You don't need all these coordination teams there. It is there ready made. When you need it, just go and few clicks will do the job. So speed of delivery became easy for the clients. No capacity planning, no 20% of the unnecessary investment in advance you don't have to do. It is a cloud job. Cloud maintain it. Your customer, your demand will be fulfilled by the cloud. They do this capacity planning, not you. So you're not unnecessarily investing on that 20% buffer infrastructure. Okay, that is the benefit, right? Enhanced productivity. This is what, removing, racking, stacking, hardware, patching hardwares, maintaining the hardware and keeping the hardware up and up all the time. You don't have to worry about. This is another thing. Enhance the productivity of the employee, in fact, and even your products also. Employee productivity can be enhanced because the employee don't have to do everything end to end what he used to do. So his time is saved. When his time is saved, he has to invest that time somewhere. That's where the expectation, like learn multiple technologies and showcase that technical expertise in multiple, then you get a job. You can sustain. That is what enhancing the employee productivity uh, through getting all these benefits. Any questions from anyone when I'm talking about all this? These are all benefits. I'm just giving higher level. The last important point is reliability. This talks a lot. Okay. What exactly reliability means? How safe my data is first. That how safe my data I am not keeping in my infrastructure. How safe my data. Second point is, if crash happens, what are the possibilities of recovering my data? Safest against the hackers, like no one is intruding, no one is getting your data unauthorized access and doing it. That is the first thing. How safe my data? How, what kind of options you are giving it for data recoverability? So these 2 points will be covered by reliability. Just a minute, don't mind. So your data is absolutely safe in the cloud. No one can attack unless you create a bad rule. Say cloud is 11 layers, 7 layers security. No one can hack it unless you create a route. That route you are, see, you can control the network yourself. I'm going to show that. We're going to do the entire simulation, roughly three classes. In fact, two classes. I'll talk about real world implementation. One class basics. Anyway, so your servers, your services absolutely isolated when you create. You have to open the communication from what networks you want to interact with that services when it is isolated. So whatever the routes you are creating, the routes are bad rules, like with the different networks, what it has to be allowed, then cloud cannot do anything. It's a shared responsibility. What is there in the cloud, it is protected. Yes, it will be protected if you are also giving the restricted rule set what you're creating it. It is only allowing your network, no one can come. If you are creating some loophole, some bad rules, any what kind of bad rules can exist also, we're going to talk about. So networking data protection side is one part, and access side, and no one can access, that also we're going to talk about. So how safe my data, how good I can recover my data. Your data can be recoverable with all the technologies. You can do the high availability, you can do all the technologies what we do in on-prem clustering, always on mirroring, anything you can do to protect the VM side. PaaS side anyway, it is by default protected. Okay, so data protection absolutely available in the cloud, but it is a shared responsibility. You have to protect yourself, it is a VM. Okay, and you have to protect your unnecessary access to your infrastructure by giving the proper rule set. It is a shared responsibility. Cloud is did their job, you have to do your job. That way it is. It's like hand in hand. Right, so we do have Microsoft Azure, Amazon, Google Compute. Why we need to learn Azure is the first question you should ask. So when AWS is older cloud technology, why should we go to Azure than AWS? So the reason being is Azure is cheaper than AWS for all Microsoft products. So how it is cheap? So let's go to the official website. AWS is five times costlier than Azure. So basically, if you type that one, they'll take you to the website where they show you the difference of cost. So if you see this thing, if it is Azure, how much you are paying? If it is AWS, how much you are paying for SQL Server licensing part, the cost of everything what you are doing it. If you go to Azure, they'll give the hybrid benefit. You already Microsoft client, you are migrating to Azure, use the same license what you're using in the on-prem in the cloud, you get the up to 50% discount straight away. Hybrid benefit is one thing. Second thing is by product itself, they will give you with the lesser cost compared to AWS. AWS is third party, right? He's not a product vendor. He has to gain his own margins. He cannot give that deeper discount what Microsoft can give. If he's giving the deeper discount, he cannot get the margins. So why he'll waste his infrastructure, right? On top of his cloud. So AWS is not ideal choice for the Microsoft products, especially we are Microsoft product people, right? So our product is mostly should run on the Azure to get the first thing is cost saving. Next thing is the easy of migration. I do work on AWS, I do work on Azure. AWS to Azure, the migration is very easy. AWS is not straightforward. You need to have a middleware service for sure to migrate. Here you can directly migrate with many methods. There is no direct migration here. There should be third-party service or a cloud integrating service should be available as a middleman that is going to do the actual migration. Here directly you can do it. It's all Microsoft. No complexity, nothing. So for all Microsoft products people, Azure is the ideal cloud to go ahead first. AWS, if you have the market, maybe you can focus next, but Azure is the first. I would say that in the in terms of growing, Azure is very close to AWS now. Okay, 40% to 37%, I guess, 2 to 3% behind the AWS, Azure in terms of revenue. And in terms of infrastructure, Azure is far ahead than AWS. Like they're building regions of network more rigorously than AWS. Their equipment, the highest compute power is available in Azure, not in the AWS. So Azure is more, in terms of infrastructure, like Azure has a more infrastructure in the market than anyone in the world in terms of cloud. AWS is next only in terms of infrastructure. I'm talking about revenue wise, still AWS is leading because the old one, there a lot of financial clients are here in the AWS, so they're getting the good revenue from those. Compared to Azure is a little behind the AWS in terms of revenue. Okay, but anyway, they're catching very closely. So our ideal is Azure only for Windows products, especially. AWS is a third party. That's why they cannot give the deeper discounts. They cannot attract the people. So maximum people are going to Microsoft Azure than AWS, especially. New implementation, old implementation they already did. That's a different story. Why we need to learn any Microsoft products? Basically, any Microsoft products always they build user-friendly products. So if you talk about Azure and AWS, Azure is easy to learn compared to AWS. AWS has a bit of complexity, even network side, even service implementation side. The communicating with that service with external service is also a little complicated. Azure is straightforward. Anybody can, if someone see it, he can do it. At least it is that easy. They make user-friendly products. That's a big selling point. You have a product, you have more people to support. It's a good to implement, right? You have a good product, but no people to support because it's complex. Though it is good, what there is no support people. That's the problem. So user-friendly, easy to learn and manage, and rapid growth in the cloud computing, like in terms of infrastructure, more regions, data centers than any cloud providers at the moment. This is having more infrastructure, more coverage, and the region wise also, and around the globe. Cost effective. So all features are good, right? And that too, your Microsoft products, you have to come to the Microsoft because they are giving up to 50% straight away discount. So how good? So that's why people are trying to move to the Azure than AWS when it comes to the Microsoft products. So after this course, what kind of certifications you can take? So we focus on DP300, which is designing and implementing cloud data platform solutions. I'll give the dumps also, and this is what is more majority of the focus we do. 80% of the content will be covered, 20% anyway, much of the theoretical side. Okay, and you can also take one AG104 after this course. At least you get 50% of the idea about infrastructure because I'm going to cover VM administration, how the VMs can be created, how the VMs can be scaled, how you can expand the disk, how you can migrate the disk, how you can manage the VM, and how you automate the VM creation, which will get SQL servers automatically and all the standardization automatically. So we're going to spend 4 classes and the 4 to 5 classes on the VM side. Okay. Then networking side, 4 classes on the networking side, how the networks will work. How do we know that one VM is not talking other VM, one service is not talking other service? We can ourselves verify as a DBA. That something 4 classes. Then storage, what kind of storage we do have, when do we use each storage type? There are different types of storage, and each storage type has a different meaning and different purpose. So these are all infrastructure. Then we'll start the product. VM administration, networking, and storage. So these are all core components of this certification. So I'll give a fair idea on those services so that you can troubleshoot. See, product runs on the platform. First, understand the platform where it is running, so that the troubleshooting is it will become easy for us to troubleshoot the issues on the underlying platform. That's why we'll spend roughly 10 classes on the infrastructure first. Then I'll start the product. When I start the product, you should not have any questions on your face like, okay, what I'm discussing. So this AG104 also will give you good fair idea, but the majority of the focus is this. So if you are a DBA, do this certificate, not this one. Okay, sometimes people do, but it is not mandatory for us. This is a mandatory thing for us. DP300 for a database administrator. Okay. So this is all about the informative. These are all more of informative, nothing technical much, I would say that. But still, why we need to adapt to the cloud? You should have an idea by now, like why people are adapting to the cloud, what kind of challenges people are facing it, what benefits we are getting by subscribing to the cloud as a company. So you should have at least an idea what are the different types of cloud categories, cloud models. You got an idea like SaaS model, PaaS model, IaaS model, public cloud, private cloud, hybrid cloud. Should have all those differentiation by now. So any questions before I discuss the syllabus? What we're going to cover quickly? I shared the syllabus with all of you. What is there in this? I'm going to cover every point what you see in this. Okay, every point will be touch based, absolutely. So whatever I mentioned. So any questions from you before I just discuss about this? Anything? I mean, like you want to ask her, you have in your mind.
Where was this
I
syllabus shared? Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Where was this syllabus shared? Did you email this one?
Yes, I'll share with you if I
Okay,
did not send
okay,
you.
okay.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So any other
yeah, I
question?
have one question regarding for in PaaS model, where
Mhm.
we can check that SQL logs. Is there any way I need to check any SQL logs in that PaaS model?
Yeah, yeah, we do have sys.sysc. There is a events. There is a DMV, sys.events. It records every event that happens in the past. So go
Okay,
and use the master database, sys.events. There is a DMV. It's a kind of table or DM, we can say that. It records everything like who logged, I mean, if disconnect is happened, why it is happened, what is the load, when the maximum, the majority of the events will record there.
for database
Okay.
side also.
Yeah, yeah, it's server level, it is entire server.
Okay, okay, okay,
So all databases disconnects, if anything happened, that you can find there.
okay,
Even you, if you fail to connect also, it will record there that information.
okay.
Yeah, any other question from anyone?
Yeah, Ravinder. Hi, Ravinder. What we need to cover? What we are covering in this course? Is it the Azure 300 or something? Uh,
No, DP300.
Certification.
DP300 is
DP.
our ideal. Yeah, this is what our main goal. As a DBA, this is what you need to gain. DP300 as a
Mhm.
DBA.
So okay, fine.
HG104 is a add-on for us because I
Yeah.
am working since very long, so I know what to be discussed in the course as an infrastructure side. So as a DBA, there are certain things you should aware of. If they do something at the infrastructure, what level we will be impacted. You should have an idea. That's why I wanted to talk about 10 classes about entire infrastructure first. Okay.
So on the DP 300 side, we'll cover everything on the infrastructure side too, right? On the
Yeah.
designing of the database, like.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course. That's the major agenda of the course.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'll give the previous dumps also got passed. Don't depend on always the dumps. Your preparation also equally important. Okay. Dumps are actually reference all the time. So yeah, our course is designed in 9 modules. Second module will spend 4 classes. Here, these two and three will spend 4 to 5 classes. Okay, and here we'll spend implementing Azure is also 4 classes, and storage also 3 classes roughly. And then this is a major module for us. This is where we spend 15, 16 classes on the seventh module. So this covers entire our profile. Okay, all product related discussions, SQL discussions in the cloud. In fact, 16 to 17 classes. And Active Directory, how Active Directory works in the cloud. If it is a cloud pass model, it does not integrate with the on-prem. It only integrates with the cloud Active Directory. How we can integrate? How you migrate on-prem Active Directory to cloud? How the on-prem accounts will be migrated? How you can integrate those accounts into Azure's pass model? So the entire life cycle we're going to discuss here in this model. And PowerShell automation, Azure Elastic Agent automation, runbook automation, and there will be we're going to use there are 5 different types of automation. I'll cover TSQL automation. So we're going to discuss that PowerShell runbook automation, Elastic Agent automation, Logic App automation, and TSQL automation. So what and all we do. So different types of interacting with the cloud, different services in different ways, and doing the automation. So we're going to do that in this module. So it's a kind of package base. It's not just a database. It is also covering the infrastructure. You can see that each module have a description. Whatever the point I kept, we're going to absolutely touch base and going to discuss in practical. Okay. So these are all going to help you out. This is what is a major agenda. I mean, we see that big list here, right? And seventh module. All these points are important for us. And I'm going to give you the sample resume, sample questions for interview, and all technical documents what we discuss in the class. That also will be shared. And videos are viewable for lifetime, not downloadable. So that's what it is. Okay. So any questions before I stop the video? Just stay back. I'll give some details. Anyone to say something before I stop the video? Let me know. Fine. I'm stopping it.